Dr. Hana Kim sat in front of her computer screen at the Seoul Space Observatory. It was 3 in the morning and she was alone in the building. The coffee in her cup had gone cold hours ago, but she did not care. Something strange was happening in space and she could not look away. The numbers on her screen made no sense. Large objects were moving toward Earth from the outer edge of the solar system. They were too big to be asteroids and moving too fast to be natural. Hana rubbed her eyes and checked the data again. The objects were still there, and they were getting closer. She picked up her phone and called Dr. June Park at the NASA Deep Space Communications Array in California. It took several rings before he answered. "June, wake up," she said. "I need you to check something for me." "Hana? It's midnight here." "This better be important," June said with a sleepy voice. "Point your big dish toward coordinates 285.7 by 41.3 and tell me what you see." She heard typing sounds from the other end of the phone, then silence, then more typing. "Oh my God," June whispered. "Hana, these are ships. Hundreds of them." Far above Earth, Admiral Thexel stood on the bridge of his flagship. The third planet of this small solar system filled the main viewing screen. Blue oceans and white clouds covered most of the surface. Green and brown land masses broke up the blue. It looked like many other worlds his people had conquered. "Admiral," said his second-in-command, "our scouts report the planet has a single intelligent species. They call themselves humans. Technology level appears primitive. No significant space presence detected." Thexel smiled. His people, the Velkari, had conquered 12 star systems using the same method. "Find a weak planet. Demand surrender. Take control." It always worked. "How many ships do they have?" he asked. "None in deep space, Admiral. Some small craft in low orbit around their planet. Nothing that could threaten us when they're perfect. Send the surrender message. Give them the standard 72 hours. They will give up without a fight like all the others." Back on Earth, General Bin Lee received the call at his home near the United Nations Defense Command headquarters. He had been expecting something like this ever since the strange reports started coming in from observatories around the world. "Sir, you need to get here right now," said Major Kim on the phone. "We have a situation." 30 minutes later, General Lee stood in the command center watching the main screen. Satellite images showed the alien fleet clearly. The ships were huge, much larger than anything humans had ever built. "Have they made contact?" he asked. "Yes, sir. The message came in 20 minutes ago. They want us to surrender in 72 hours or they will attack." General Lee looked around the room at his officers. They all had the same expression on their faces. Fear mixed with anger. "Get me the president on the line. Then contact all military commanders worldwide. If these aliens think we will just give up, they are about to learn something new about humans." The alien message played on every television and radio station on Earth. The voice was strange, with words that did not fit together well. "People of the third planet, you are now property of the Velkari Empire. You have 72 hours to surrender all weapons and submit to our rule. Do not resist. Resistance will result in your destruction. Your planet will serve our empire. Your people will work for our glory. Submit now, and you will be treated fairly." Dr. Hana Kim watched the message on the television in her lab. Dr. June Park was there too. He had flown to Seoul as soon as the alien fleet was confirmed. "They think we are weak," Hana said. "Maybe we are," June replied. "Look at their ships. Each one is the size of a city." "Size does not mean everything," Hana said. "My grandmother always told me that the biggest dog is not always the strongest." Around the world, humans reacted to the alien message in ways the Velkari did not expect. There was fear, yes, but there was also something else. Something the Velkari had never seen in their previous conquests. In Seoul, factory workers stayed at their jobs and began making weapons. In Moscow, soldiers loaded trucks with missiles. In New York, scientists worked through the night in secret laboratories. In Tokyo, engineers checked hidden defense systems that most people did not know existed. Admiral Thexel watched the planet's communications with interest. He expected to see panic and preparation for surrender. Instead, he saw something that confused him. "Admiral," his communications officer said, "the humans are not acting like other species we have conquered. They seem to be preparing for war." "Impossible," Thexel replied. "They have seen our fleet. They know they cannot win. This must be some primitive ritual before surrender." But the humans were not preparing to surrender. President Han Sol-lee spoke to world leaders through secure channels. Within hours, every nation on Earth had agreed to work together. Old enemies became allies. Countries that had been fighting for years put down their weapons and joined forces. "We have never faced anything like this before," the president said to General Bin Lee. "But humans have survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. We will survive this too." General Lee nodded. "Sir, I have something to tell you. For the past 20 years, many countries have been working on secret defense projects. We were preparing for the possibility that we might one day meet hostile aliens. What kind of projects? Weapons the aliens will not expect. Hidden bases. Technologies we have kept secret even from our own people. We are not as helpless as these Velkari think." On the alien flagship, the 72 hours were almost over. Admiral Thexel expected surrender messages to start coming from the planet below. Instead, his sensors detected something else. "Admiral," his weapons officer said, "the humans are moving their military forces. Ships, aircraft, ground troops. They are taking defensive positions. They dare to threaten us?" Thexel laughed. "These primitives think their tiny weapons can hurt our ships? Begin the attack. Show them the price of defiance." But as the Velkari fleet moved closer to Earth, something happened that Admiral Thexel had never seen before. The humans did not try to run away. They did not send messages begging for mercy. Instead, they did something that shocked the aliens. They attacked first. Captain Dong Ho. Choi stood on the bridge of his destroyer in the Yellow Sea. His ship was one of 50 that had been secretly modified with new weapons. The modifications had been done in underground shipyards that most people did not know existed. "All ships, this is Captain Choi," he spoke into his radio. "Target the lead alien ship. Fire on my command." Around the world, similar scenes played out. Ships, aircraft, and ground-based weapons all turned toward the alien fleet. The humans had spent 72 hours not preparing to surrender but preparing to fight. "Fire," Captain Choi ordered. The first shot of the war between humans and aliens came from Earth, not from the Velkari fleet. A modified missile launched from Captain Choi's destroyer and struck the nearest alien ship. The explosion lit up the night sky. Admiral Thexel felt his ship shake. Alarms began ringing throughout the bridge. "Report," he shouted. "The humans have weapons we did not detect," his tactical officer said. "That missile carried some kind of new warhead. Our shields absorbed most of the damage, but some got through. Impossible. Their technology is primitive. Admiral, I am reading similar launches from all over the planet. Hundreds of missiles incoming." For the first time in his career, Admiral Thexel felt something he had never experienced in Norway. Battle. Uncertainty. Every other species his people had encountered had either surrendered immediately or fought with weapons that could barely scratch Velkari shields. These humans were different. As explosions bloomed around his fleet, Admiral Thexel realized that his easy conquest had just become something else entirely. The humans were not going to surrender. They were not going to run away. They were going to fight. And from the look of things, they knew how to do it well. The first day of fighting changed everything Admiral Thexel thought he knew about warfare. His fleet had taken more damage in 24 hours than in any previous conquest. The humans were not fighting like any species the Velkari had ever encountered. "Admiral, we have lost 6 ships," his tactical officer reported. "The humans are using weapons we have never seen before." Thexel stared at the battle reports. 6 ships destroyed and dozen more damaged, against primitives who should not have been able to scratch their paint. How is this possible? "Sir, they appear to have been hiding their true military capabilities. These weapons were not visible during our initial scans." Colonel Mi Young. Song climbed out of her fighter jet at Osan Air Base. Her squadron had just returned from their 3rd attack run against the alien fleet. The new plasma cannons mounted on their aircraft had performed better than expected. "How did we do?" asked her wing commander as she walked toward the debriefing room. 2 alien fighters down, 1 damaged, she reported. "The plasma cannons work great, but we need to get closer than I like. Their return fire nearly took my head off." Around the world, similar reports came in. The humans were fighting back with weapons the aliens had not expected, but the cost was high. For every alien ship destroyed, Earth lost 10 aircraft or ships. Dr. Wu Jin Yang had not slept in 3 days. He stood in the underground laboratory beneath the Korean Advanced Defense Research Institute, watching technicians load a new type of ammunition into railguns. "Doctor, the satellite network is ready for activation," his assistant reported. "Good. Contact General Lee and tell him we can begin Phase 2. 20 years earlier, Dr. Yang and scientists from many countries had started a secret project. They called it the Guardian Network. Satellites with powerful weapons had been placed in orbit, disguised as weather stations and communication relays. The aliens had seen them but thought they were harmless. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Engineer Sumin Han floated in the International Space Station, but it looked nothing like the ISS the public knew about. Hidden sections extended from the main structure, filled with weapons and defensive systems. For 2 decades, astronauts had been secretly building a military base in space. "Sumin, are you ready?" came the voice of General Lee through the communication system. "All weapons charged and ready, General. Targeting data received. We can hit 12 of their ships from here." "Do it." The attack came from above and below. Satellites that the Valkyrie thought were harmless revealed hidden weapons. The space station opened fire with energy beams that cut through alien armor. On Earth's surface, railguns fired solid metal projectiles at incredible speeds. Admiral Thexel watched his tactical display in shock. Red warning lights showed damage to ships throughout his fleet. The humans had been hiding an entire military network in space. "Where did these weapons come from?" he demanded. "Admiral, our intelligence was wrong. The humans have been preparing for space warfare for decades. These satellites and weapons platforms were built in secret. Get me more ships. Contact the Empire. Tell them we need reinforcements." But reinforcements would take time to arrive, and the humans were not finished revealing their surprises. Captain Dong Ho Choi's destroyer had been joined by 40 others. Together they formed a battle line in the Pacific Ocean. But these were not the same ships that had fought yesterday. Overnight, engineers had installed new weapon systems that no alien scanner had detected. "All ships, prepare to fire the new torpedoes," Captain Choi ordered. The torpedoes were different from anything the Valkyrie had seen. Instead of explosives, they carried electromagnetic pulse warheads designed to shut down alien electronics. The idea had come from studying wreckage of the first alien ships they had shot down. "Fire!" 50 torpedoes launched simultaneously. They streaked through the water and then into the air, heading for the alien ships hovering above the ocean. When they exploded, the electromagnetic pulses shut down the aliens' shields and weapon systems. "Direct hits," reported Captain Choi's tactical officer. "Enemy shields are down on 12 targets. All ships, conventional weapons, maximum rate of fire." The alien ships, now defenseless, took terrible damage from human missiles and cannons. 3 ships crashed into the ocean within minutes. Major Tae Ho Shin led his Special Forces team through the wreckage of an alien ship that had crashed in the Korean mountains. The ship was mostly intact, and his team had been ordered to capture any aliens alive and gather intelligence. "Movement ahead," whispered Sergeant Kim through the radio. Major Shin held up his hand, signaling his team to stop. Through the smoke and twisted metal, he could see 3 alien figures. They were tall and thin, with gray skin and large eyes. They carried weapons but seemed confused and frightened. "Surrender," Major Shin called out in the alien language that linguists had been working to decode. The aliens' weapons fell to the ground as they raised their hands. This was the first time humans had captured Valkyrie soldiers alive. Dr. Ji-won Moon had been waiting for this moment. As soon as the captured aliens and their technology arrived at her laboratory, she began studying everything. The alien weapons, computer systems, and even the aliens themselves. "Their technology is more advanced than ours," she told General Lee during a video conference. "But it is not as advanced as they think it is. We can figure out how it works. How long do you need?" "Give me 3 days and I can reverse engineer their shield generators." "Give me a week and I can improve them." General Lee smiled. "You have 3 days." But Dr. Moon was not the only scientist working on alien technology. Around the world, teams of researchers studied captured equipment. They learned how alien computers worked, how their weapons functioned, and most importantly, how their shields could be defeated. Lieutenant Yoon-ji Park sat in the cockpit of the strangest aircraft she had ever seen. It looked like a human fighter jet, but it was powered by alien technology. Dr. Moon's team had built it in just 2 days using parts from a crashed Valkyrie ship. Control Tower. This is Test Pilot Park requesting permission for first flight of Project Phoenix. Permission granted, Yoon-ji. Good luck. The hybrid fighter lifted off from the runway using alien gravity control systems. It flew faster than any human aircraft had ever flown, and its weapons were a combination of human and alien technology. "Control tower, this is incredible," Lieutenant Park reported. "The aliens' gravity drive is amazing, but our targeting computers are much better than theirs. This thing is going to be deadly." Admiral Thexel received the report about the hybrid aircraft with growing concern. The humans were not just fighting back. They were learning and adapting faster than any species he had ever encountered. "Admiral," his intelligence officer said, "the humans have reverse-engineered our technology in less than a week. They are building new weapons using our own systems against us. How is that possible? Their scientists are extremely capable. They learn from every piece of wreckage, every captured device, and they improve our designs." This was something the Velkari had never faced. Every other species they conquered either had no technology, or technology so different that reverse engineering was impossible. The humans seemed to understand alien science as well as the aliens themselves. Commander Hyun-Soo Lim led a squadron of 12 hybrid fighters in their first combat mission. His pilots were the best from air forces around the world, and their new aircraft combined the best of human and alien technology. "Phoenix Squadron, we have 20 alien fighters approaching from the north," came the voice of the ground controller. "Copy that, Control. Phoenix Squadron is engaging." The battle lasted only minutes. The hybrid fighters were faster and more maneuverable than pure alien craft. Their weapons were more accurate, and their human pilots were more creative in their tactics. When the smoke cleared, all 20 alien fighters had been destroyed without a single human loss. "Control, this is Commander Lim. Enemy fighters destroyed. Request permission to hunt for more." Around the world, similar battles were taking place. Human forces that had been losing the first day of the war were now winning. The combination of hidden human technology and captured alien systems was proving deadly. But the aliens were learning too. Admiral Thexel changed his tactics, keeping his ships farther from Earth where human weapons were less effective. He called for reinforcements and prepared for a longer war than he had expected. "Admiral," his communications officer reported, "message from the Empire. Fleet Admiral Korth is coming with 300 additional ships." "Good. These humans may be clever, but they cannot fight the full power of the Velkari Empire." But Thexel was making the same mistake he had made from the beginning. He was thinking like a Velkari, not like a human. He believed that more ships would solve the problem. He did not understand that every day the war continued. The humans became stronger. They learned from every battle, captured more alien technology, and built better weapons. Most importantly, they were doing something no other species had ever done. They were hunting the hunters. Admiral Thexel thought the arrival of Fleet Admiral Korth with 300 additional ships would end the war quickly. He was wrong. The humans had used the 2 weeks it took for reinforcements to arrive to prepare surprises that would shock the entire Velkari Empire. "Admiral Korth," Thexel said as his superior officer's ship joined the fleet, "the humans are more dangerous than our initial report suggested. But your additional firepower should be sufficient to crush their resistance." Fleet Admiral Korth studied the battle reports with growing concern. 600 human aircraft destroyed in exchange for 43 of our ships? "Thexel, these are not acceptable losses. The humans fight differently than other species, sir. They learn from every engagement and adapt their tactics." "Then we will not give them time to adapt. Begin bombardment of their major population centers immediately." General Eugene Kang stood deep underground in a command bunker that most world leaders did not know existed. For 30 years, nations around the world had been secretly building a network of military installations hidden in mountains, under oceans, and even in the polar ice caps. "General, the aliens are beginning bombardment of major cities," reported Colonel Park from the communication station. "Activate Operation Terra Shield. All defensive networks full power. Around the world, mountains open to reveal massive cannons. Ocean floors split apart as underwater bases launched missiles. Even Antarctica revealed hidden installations as camouflaged weapon systems emerged from the ice. The alien bombardment beams struck shields that should not have existed. Instead of destroying cities, the energy weapons were absorbed by defensive barriers that covered entire metropolitan areas. "What is happening?" Fleet Admiral Korth demanded as his weapons proved ineffective against the human cities. "Sir, the humans have defensive shields protecting their population centers. Our bombardment is having minimal effect. Where did primitives get shield technology?" The truth was that the shields were human inventions, not alien technology. While the Velkari had focused on offensive weapons and conquering weaker species, humans had spent decades learning how to protect themselves from threats they could barely imagine. Commander Hyun-Soo Lim now led a combined force of 300 hybrid fighters. His pilots came from every air force on Earth, and their aircraft were becoming more advanced every day as human engineers improved on captured alien technology. Phoenix Wing, we have a priority target, came the voice from ground control. Long-range sensors show an alien command ship moving toward the Asian continent. Copy that, Control. Phoenix Wing is moving to intercept. But this was not just an interception mission. The humans had learned something important from studying captured alien equipment. The Velkari relied heavily on their command ships to coordinate their fleets. Destroy the command ship, and the other alien vessels would be confused and disorganized. The battle took place 50 kilometers above the Pacific Ocean. The alien command ship was massive, 10 times larger than any human aircraft. It was protected by dozens of escort fighters and had powerful defensive systems. But Commander Lim and his pilots had advantages the aliens did not expect. Their hybrid fighters could fly faster and turn more sharply than pure alien craft. More importantly, human pilots thought differently than Velkari pilots. Phoenix 2 and 3 attack from below, Commander Lim ordered. Phoenix 4 through 8 hit their escorts from the right. Everyone else follow me straight at their main ship. The Velkari pilots expected a coordinated frontal assault or a careful long-range attack. They did not expect human pilots to split up and attack from 6 different directions, simultaneously while flying at maximum speed directly into the enemy formation. The alien command ship exploded in a ball of fire that could be seen from the ground. Its destruction caused immediate confusion among the remaining Velkari ships in the area, just as human intelligence had predicted. Major Taeho Shin led his special forces team aboard a damaged alien destroyer that had been forced to land in the mountains of North Korea. This was the 15th alien ship his teams had boarded, and they had become experts at fighting inside alien vessels. Remember, he told his soldiers as they prepared to enter the ship, their hallways are taller than ours, but they move slowly in confined spaces. Use speed and surprise. The boarding action was over in minutes. The alien crew, trained to fight space battles, could not match human soldiers trained for close combat in difficult conditions. Major Shin's team captured the ship's computer systems and 23 alien prisoners. But the most important capture was the ship's navigation computer, which contained the locations of Velkari bases throughout the solar system. Dr. Ji-won Moon had become the world's leading expert on alien technology, but she was not working alone. Scientists from every nation shared their discoveries, and human understanding of Velkari systems was advancing faster than the aliens could believe. General Lee, she reported during their daily briefing, we have made a breakthrough. The aliens have 3 supply bases in the asteroid belt and 1 major staging area on Mars. Can we reach them? Yes, sir. We have built 12 ships using hybrid human-alien technology. They are faster than anything the Velkari have, and they are ready for long-range operations. General Lee looked at the design specifications for the new human spacecraft. They looked like nothing that had ever been built before. Part human engineering, part alien technology, and completely deadly. How long until they are ready for combat? They launched this morning, General. Admiral Seok-jin Nam is commanding the fleet. Lieutenant Eunji Park was no longer flying experimental hybrid fighters. She was now squadron leader aboard the UES Defiance, one of the new human spacecraft heading toward the asteroid belt. The ship was a marvel of combined human and alien engineering. Lieutenant Park, came the voice of Admiral Nam over the ship's communication system. Prepare your squadron for combat. We are approaching the first Velkari supply base. Through the cockpit window of her fighter, Lieutenant Park could see the alien base built into a large asteroid. It looked heavily defended, but appearances could be deceiving. All squadrons, this is Admiral Nam. Begin attack run. Show them what happens when they threaten Earth. The attack was unlike anything the Velkari had ever experienced. Human spacecraft attacked from multiple directions, using tactics that no alien commander had ever seen. The supply base, designed to defend against conventional space attacks, could not cope with human creativity and aggression. Direct hit on their main power reactor, reported Commander Kim from the UES Victory. The base is going dark. All ships, move to the next target, ordered Admiral Nam. Meanwhile, on Earth, the war was turning in humanity's favor. The combination of hidden human technology and captured alien systems had created a military force that the Velkari could not match. Colonel Mi Young-song now commanded a wing of 200 hybrid aircraft. Her pilots had become so skilled at fighting alien ships that Velkari commanders refused to engage small human formations. "Colonel," reported her tactical officer, "we have 50 alien fighters approaching from the west. Orders? Standard intercept pattern. Launch all squadrons." The battle was over before it truly began. The alien fighters, designed for combat against species with similar technology, could not compete with human pilots flying improved versions of their own ships. Fleet Admiral Korth found himself in a situation no Velkari commander had ever faced. His fleet was being systematically destroyed by an enemy that was supposed to be primitive and weak. "Admiral," his intelligence officer reported, "the humans have destroyed all our supply bases in this system. Our ships are running low on fuel and ammunition. What about the reinforcements from the Second Fleet?" "Sir, they are refusing to enter this system. Fleet Admiral Zextok says the humans are too dangerous." For the first time in Velkari history, their own fleets were afraid to engage an enemy. The humans had become the hunters, and the Velkari were the hunted. Captain Minho An led a strike team of captured Velkari ships now operated by human crews. His mission was to attack Velkari logistics convoys attempting to supply the alien fleet around Earth. "Captain," his navigator reported, "we have 3 enemy cargo ships approaching from the direction of Jupiter. They have a small escort. All ships prepare to attack. Remember, we want those cargo ships intact if possible." The attack was swift and efficient. The human crews, flying alien ships but using human tactics, overwhelmed the Velkari escort. The cargo ship surrendered without firing a shot. "This is Captain An to all human forces," he broadcast. "We have captured 3 enemy supply ships loaded with fuel and weapons. The aliens are having supply problems." Dr. Young-hee Cho had become the world's expert at breaking alien computer codes. Working with captured Velkari systems, she had learned to read their language and understand their military communications. "General Lee," she reported, "I have intercepted communications between the alien fleets. They are requesting permission to retreat from Earth. What is the response from their high command?" "The Emperor is refusing to allow retreat. He is sending the Third Fleet to reinforce them." General Lee smiled grimly. "How many ships in the Third Fleet?" 500, sir. "But General, there is something else. The aliens are calling Earth something different now." Fleet Admiral Zextok arrived at the edge of the solar system with 500 ships, expecting to help finish an easy conquest. Instead, he found the wreckage of 2 Velkari fleets and humans actively hunting his people throughout the system. "Where is Fleet Admiral Korth?" he asked as soon as his ship was in communication range. "Sir," came the weak reply from Admiral Thexel. "Fleet Admiral Korth was killed 3 days ago when humans destroyed his flagship. I am the senior commander remaining. How many ships do you have left?" 67 operational, sir. Another 43 damaged but repairable." Zextok stared at the tactical display showing the remains of 800 Velkari ships. Never in the history of the Empire had they lost so many vessels to a single planet. "What are we fighting?" "Sir, these humans are unlike any species we have encountered. They learn from every battle, adapt faster than we can change tactics, and they never retreat." Admiral Seokjin Nam stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, flagship of humanity's first interplanetary fleet. His ships had spent the last month destroying every Velkari installation in the outer solar system, and now they were preparing for their most ambitious mission yet. "Admiral," reported his tactical officer, "long-range sensors show the new alien fleet has arrived. 500 ships, much larger than the previous forces." "Good," Admiral Nam replied. "We need the practice." His fleet consisted of 50 ships built with hybrid human-alien technology, but each one was more advanced than anything the Velkari had ever built. Human engineers had not just copied alien designs, they had improved them in ways the aliens never imagined possible. Dr. Young-hee Cho had spent weeks studying captured Velkari communications and tactical manuals. Her analysis had revealed something important about alien military thinking. "General Lee," she reported from her intelligence center, "the Velkari always fight the same way. They rely on superior numbers and firepower to overwhelm weaker enemies. They have never faced an enemy that could match their technology. What does that mean for us? It means their tactics are predictable. They do not know how to adapt when their standard methods fail. We can use that against them. General Lee nodded. Send the analysis to all fleet commanders. It is time to show the aliens what happens when they try to conquer humans. Captain Minho An commanded a squadron of 20 ships, all built using captured Velkari technology but crewed by humans. His mission was to attack the alien supply lines between their home systems and the Sol system. Captain, his navigator reported, we have found a major supply convoy. 30 cargo ships with 50 escort vessels. Only 50 escorts for 30 cargo ships? Captain An smiled. The aliens are getting desperate. All ships attack formation. Let us collect some more supplies. The battle was over quickly. The Velkari escorts, expecting to face other Velkari ships using standard tactics, could not cope with human creativity and aggression. Within an hour, all 30 cargo ships had been captured along with their precious supplies. This is Captain An to Earth Command, he broadcast. We have captured enough fuel and ammunition to supply our fleet for 6 months. The aliens are definitely having logistics problems. Lieutenant Colonel Jae Sung coordinated the defense of Earth from his command center, but defending was no longer his primary job. Earth's surface-based weapons were now being used to support human offensives throughout the solar system. Colonel, his targeting officer reported, Admiral Nam is requesting fire support for his attack on the alien fleet. Range to target? 400,000 kilometers, sir. Load the new long-range kinetic missiles. Let us show the aliens that Earth can reach anywhere in the solar system. The missiles launched from hidden bases around Earth were unlike anything the Velkari had seen. Instead of explosive warheads, they carried solid metal projectiles accelerated to incredible speeds. When they hit alien ships at near light speed, the kinetic energy was devastating. Fleet Admiral Zextok watched his ships take damage from weapons fired from the planet's surface. It should have been impossible. No species had ever built weapons with such range and accuracy. Admiral, his tactical officer reported, we are taking heavy losses. The human weapons are more advanced than our intelligence suggested. Then we will move closer and use our superior numbers to overwhelm them. But moving closer to Earth was exactly what the humans wanted. Commander So Young Kim waited with her boarding parties as the alien fleet approached the inner solar system. Her job was to capture as many alien ships as possible. All boarding ships prepare for combat, she ordered. Remember, we want prisoners and intact ships if possible. The human boarding ships were small and fast, designed to get close to enemy vessels and attach themselves to alien hulls. Once attached, human soldiers would cut their way inside and fight room by room until the ship was captured. The Velkari had never faced boarding actions like this. Their ships were designed for space combat, not for fighting enemies inside their own vessels. Human soldiers, trained for close combat in difficult conditions, overwhelmed alien crews who had no experience with this type of warfare. Commander Kim to Fleet Command, she reported after her 15th successful boarding action, we have captured 23 alien ships and over 400 prisoners. The aliens do not know how to fight boarding parties. Dr. Kyung-ho Bae had become Earth's leading expert on alien biology after studying hundreds of Velkari prisoners. His research had revealed important information about alien psychology and culture. General Lee, he reported, the Velkari are not naturally aggressive. They conquer other species through intimidation and superior technology, not through actual fighting. When they face real resistance, they become confused and frightened. That explains why their morale seems to be breaking down. Yes, sir, many of the prisoners are asking for asylum on Earth. They do not want to continue fighting humans. This was unprecedented in Velkari history. Never before had their soldiers refused to fight or asked to stay with an enemy species. Commander Jin-A Lim led the newest human fleet, consisting of ships built entirely with human improvements to alien technology. Her orders were to pursue retreating Velkari forces and prevent them from regrouping. Commander, her navigator reported, we have 50 alien ships attempting to retreat toward the outer system. All ships pursuit course. Maximum speed. Do not let any of them escape. The chase lasted 3 days and covered billions of kilometers. But human ships designed with both human engineering and alien technology were faster than pure Velkari vessels. One by one, the retreating aliens were caught and destroyed or captured. This is Commander Lim to Earth Command, she reported. All 50 enemy ships accounted for. 15 destroyed, 35 captured. No human losses. Fleet Admiral Zextok found himself commanding a fleet that was falling apart. Ships were being destroyed or captured faster than he could count. His officers were reporting that human tactics made no sense and that their own weapons seemed ineffective. "Admiral," his communications officer said, "we are receiving surrender offers from 17 of our own ships. The crews are asking permission to surrender to the humans." "Denied. Any ship that attempts to surrender will be destroyed by our own forces." But this threat only made things worse. Velkari crews began mutinying against their officers rather than continue fighting humans. Some ships simply stopped fighting and waited to be captured. Admiral Seokjin Nam watched the alien fleet disintegrate with satisfaction. The Velkari had made the classic mistake of underestimating their enemy, and now they were paying the price. "Admiral," his tactical officer reported, "the remaining alien ships are attempting to retreat from the solar system." "Let them go," Admiral Nam ordered. "But follow them. I want to know where they come from." "Sir, are we pursuing them to their home systems?" "Yes. It is time for the Velkari Empire to learn what it feels like to be invaded." On Earth, President Han Sol-lee addressed the United Nations General Assembly. The war that had begun with alien demands for surrender had become something completely different. "Fellow leaders," he said, "we have not just defended our world. We have defeated the most powerful military force in this part of the galaxy, but our victory comes with responsibility." "What do you mean, Mr. President?" "We have learned from captured alien records that the Velkari Empire has conquered dozens of other species. Many intelligent races are living as slaves under alien rule. We cannot ignore their suffering." General Nari Choi received her new orders with excitement. She would command the Human Liberation Fleet, tasked with freeing other species from Velkari control. "General," President Lee told her, "you will have 100 of our most advanced ships and our best crews. Your mission is to free every species enslaved by the Velkari Empire." "Mr. President, some of these species have been slaves for centuries. They may not even remember freedom. Then we will remind them. The same spirit that saved Earth will free the galaxy." Dr. Ji-won Moon completed her analysis of captured Velkari star charts and tactical databases. The information revealed the true scope of the alien empire and its weaknesses. "General Lee," she reported, "the Velkari Empire consists of 12 star systems with 47 inhabited worlds, but their military is spread thin across all these territories." Emperor Thokval of the Velkari Empire sat in his throne room on the capital world, reading reports that should have been impossible. 3 fleets destroyed, 800 ships lost, an entire star system now controlled by a species that was supposed to be primitive. "How did this happen?" he asked his military advisors. "Your Imperial Majesty," Admiral Vextar replied nervously, "the species calling themselves humans are unlike anything we have encountered. They do not fight like other races. They adapt, they learn, and they never surrender. I do not care how they fight. Send the entire Imperial fleet to destroy their world." "Sir, with respect, that may not be wise. The humans are no longer confined to their home system. Our scouts report human ships in 6 different star systems. They are actively hunting our forces." For the first time in his reign, Emperor Thokval felt something he had never experienced: fear. The Velkari Empire had conquered 47 worlds through intimidation and superior technology. No species had ever fought back successfully, and none had ever pursued Velkari forces to their home territories. President Han Sol-lee stood before the United Earth government, addressing representatives from every nation on the planet. The war that had united humanity was about to expand beyond anything they had imagined. "Citizens of Earth," he said, 6 months ago, aliens came to our world demanding surrender. Today, we control 12 star systems that once belonged to their empire. We have freed 8 species from slavery, and we are just beginning." The audience erupted in cheers. Humanity had not just survived first contact with hostile aliens. They had become the dominant military force in the local galaxy. "But our victory comes with responsibility," President Lee continued. "We have learned that there are hundreds of species living under Velkari rule. Some have been slaves for so long they do not remember freedom. It is our duty to help them." General Nari Choi commanded the largest military force in human history. The Liberation Fleet consisted of 300 ships, all built with hybrid human-alien technology that was superior to anything the Velkari possessed. "General," her intelligence officer reported, "we have received a message from the Zalani species in the Kepler system. They are requesting our help to overthrow their Velkari rulers." "How many Velkari ships are in that system?" 43, sir. But the Zilani have provided us with detailed information about Velkari defensive positions. They have been planning their uprising for years, waiting for the right moment. Signal the fleet. Set course for the Kepler system. Let us give the Zilani their freedom. The liberation of the Kepler system took only 3 days. The Velkari forces, already demoralized by reports of defeats throughout the galaxy, offered minimal resistance. Many alien ships surrendered without firing a shot when they realized they were facing human forces. Dr. Kyung-ho Bay worked with the newly freed Zilani to establish diplomatic relations between their species and Earth. The Zilani were tall, blue-skinned humanoids with forearms and incredible intelligence. Dr. Bay, said Zilani leader Kethara, we have waited 300 years for freedom. The humans have given us something we thought was lost forever. Hope. What do you know about other species under Velkari control? There are many. The Torsk in the Vega system, the Marathi near Arcturus, the Pontar in the Wolf system. All have been enslaved, but all remember freedom. They are waiting for someone strong enough to challenge the Empire. This information changed human strategy completely. Instead of fighting the Velkari Empire alone, humanity would coordinate with resistance movements throughout the galaxy. Commander Jin Lim led the first human colony ships to establish permanent bases in liberated systems. These were not conquest bases. They were centers of cooperation between humans and freed alien species. Commander, her chief engineer reported, the Zilani have offered to share their advanced manufacturing technology with us. In exchange, they want our defensive shield designs. Approved. We are liberators, not conquerors. Everything we learn, we share with our allies. Within months, the alliance between humans and freed species had created a military force more powerful than the Velkari Empire had ever been. Ships built with combined human-alien technology patrolled liberated systems, protecting them from Velkari attempts to recapture them. Admiral Seok Jin Nam pursued the remnants of Fleet Admiral Zextok's forces to the edge of Velkari space. His ships had been hunting alien forces for months, destroying or capturing every Velkari vessel they encountered. Admiral, his tactical officer reported, we have reached the borders of the Velkari home system. Long-range sensors show massive defensive installations and over 1,000 ships. Signal the fleet. All ships assume attack formation. It is time to finish this war. But Admiral Nam was not planning a direct assault on the Velkari homeworld. Intelligence from freed species had revealed something much more important than military victory. Dr. Young-hee Cho had spent months studying captured Velkari databases and had made a discovery that changed everything. The truth about why Earth had been selected for conquest was not what anyone expected. General Lee, she reported, I have found something incredible in the alien databases. Earth was never supposed to be conquered. What do you mean? Sir, there is a galactic database maintained by an ancient species called the Predecessors. It contains information about every inhabited world in this part of the galaxy. Earth is listed in that database, but our planet's name was corrupted during data transmission. Corrupted how? The Velkari thought they were attacking a world listed as Terra Class 7 agricultural colony. They had no idea they were attacking the planet that other species called Death World 1, the forbidden planet that no advanced species ever approaches. The revelation was staggering. Earth was not just another planet to be conquered. It was legendary throughout the galaxy as the home of the most dangerous species ever. Discovered Ambassador Sunmi Park addressed a gathering of representatives from 23 freed species on the newly established Haven Station. The station, built in the neutral zone between human and Velkari space, served as the diplomatic center for the growing alliance. Fellow beings, she said, we gather not as conquerors or subjects but as equals united in our love of freedom. The human way is not to rule others but to help others rule themselves. The Zilani representative Kethara spoke next. The humans have shown us that the galaxy need not be divided between predators and prey. There is a third option, cooperation between equals. Emperor Thokaval received the surrender request from his own military commanders with shock and disbelief. His empire, which had dominated this region of space for 1,000 years, was collapsing. Your Imperial Majesty, Admiral Vextar said, we cannot continue this war. The humans and their allies control half our territory, and our remaining forces are refusing to fight. Many of our own people are asking to surrender to the human alliance. The Velkari Empire does not surrender. Sir, we have no choice. The humans have offered generous terms. Our people will be allowed to live in peace if we agree to free all remaining slave species and accept alliance oversight of our government. For the first time in Velkari history, an emperor faced the choice between surrender and the complete destruction of his people. President Han Sol-Lee received the formal surrender of the Velkari Empire in a ceremony broadcast throughout the galaxy. Representatives from dozens of freed species attended, witnessing the end of the largest slave empire in galactic history. Today, President Lee said, we mark not just the end of a war but the beginning of a new age. An age where no species rules over others through fear and force. Emperor Thakval, standing before his former enemies, spoke words that no Velkari emperor had ever spoken. I formally surrender the Velkari Empire to the Galactic Liberation Alliance. We accept your terms and ask for mercy for our people. Mercy is given, President Lee replied, but more than that, friendship is offered. The humans do not seek revenge against former enemies. We seek partners in building a better galaxy. The transformation of the Velkari from conquerors to alliance members took years, but it was successful. Former slave worlds became independent members of the Galactic Liberation Alliance. The Velkari people, freed from their own imperial system, proved to be skilled engineers and scientists who contributed greatly to Alliance technology. Dr. Kyung-ho Bae established the Galactic Cooperation Institute, dedicated to helping freed species rebuild their civilizations and develop peaceful relationships with their neighbors. The institute became a model for post-war reconstruction throughout the galaxy. Doctor, his assistant reported, we have contact from a species in the Andromeda galaxy. They call themselves the Korthak Empire, and they are demanding that we surrender our galaxy to their rule. Dr. Bay smiled. Send them our standard response to would-be conquerors. What response is that, sir? Tell them to check their databases for information about a planet called Earth.